Hello and welcome to PaxAriaGaming. This is Reg with episode number 6 of Crimson Desert. We are going to be continuing our journey. We will be doing the Embers of Return, that part of the quest line. I believe that's still chapter 5. You're going to get a dog. You won't see me get the dog, but I will get the dog. And I'll explain how I got him when we get to that part. Okay, we're going to start off with a rumor at the Hills of No Return, which is part of the Embers of Return quest line. Basically, these rumors, which we've been following for the last couple of episodes, has to do with stories of where other Greymanes may be. In some cases, you just go to the space and the Greymanes are there, just
liven things up
chilling and hanging out. Okay, let's see if we can talk to
There you are.
Kliff, you're up first for a fresh new look.
A fresh look.
Just because we're the Greymanes doesn't mean we have to dress all drab and dreary. We can't repaint the tents, but we can look like we aren't dead inside. So...
Hey, Jan, remember that thing we had to do?
Andrew! Anyway, I've learnt a bit about dyes. Come on, let me show you. Mount up and let's go. Bit of cheer is well overdue.
Okay, so this is the mini quest that teaches us how to use dye, or how to craft dye and then use dye. But intertwined in this quest was the quest for getting a dog. But somewhere along the line, I sort of... no, I already had the dog at this
You'd
point.
be amazed how a
Okay,
splash
that's
of
what
colour
happens.
can breathe new life into your clothes.
That's what happens when you play
What's brought on
without
this
recording.
fascination with dye?
But I didn't do any main quest things.
Our whole camp looks like we're in mourning.
But one of the quests that we
And
had
people feel
was hanging out with
depending on what
Nera
they wear, right?
to save a dog.
Fresh clothes embolden the soul, or so they
She
say.
convinced Kliff that he should be the one to
Dress for conquest and
take
the
ownership
battle's
of the
half
dog?
won.
You don't need to try so hard to convince me.
Nothing gets by you, right?
And in order to do the dog quest, you follow
Jan's
her to a little
hopeless,
village.
And the rest of us, well,
You make sure you have
we've all been fighting
meat.
non-stop.
You
When every day's a
give
struggle,
the dog
your head gets heavy
the
whether
meat.
you admit
I think
it
it's
or
5
not.
pieces. And that
So
gets
I
you to
figured,
25
Why not brighten
trust,
things up a little?
but you need to be at 50 trust. So you
Better
needed
than letting the
to
whole camp sink into gloom.
pat the dog on his
I
head 5
see.
times or something like that.
Anyway,
And
you'd be surprised.
you should get to 50. And that can be done with any dog. And probably, you probably want to do that with as many of the types of pets that you can get as you can. I only have the dog. I haven't done it with the cats or any other animal, at least not yet. That's a dog. Okay, so we're not doing the, we're not going to continue her dye quest. The reason why is because I got here and didn't know what to do. This is the dye place. What I needed to do, and I didn't do, was simply walk up to the proprietor of the place and talk to him, and then ask him to craft the dye with the ingredients that Nera gave me. What I did instead was, because I didn't know what to do with him, I moved along and did some other things, and eventually sold the ingredients that she gave me. Yeah, which meant I needed to go back and collect those materials, which I will do later. It's 2 different kinds of bugs or beetles, particular kind of flower. The beetles you can find right around the Greymane camp, right around Howling Hill. Anyway, so I sort of goofed that one up. It's not the first time I've goofed one up. I've goofed one up with the butcher lady in Hernand. Same kind of a thing. She gave me the ingredients to make the fish porridge, and I ended up using the ingredients for myself. And realized I didn't have what I needed. Then I had to go back and find a particular kind of fish in order to make the fish porridge. So read and listen to everything carefully. You know, that was my fault. That was my bad. I totally goofed those two up. However, it's not broken. I mean, you just have to go back and, like I said, just grab the ingredients again.
May this small spark light your road ahead. And though the road be hard, may each step carry you safely onward. And at journey's end, may your light still linger.
Okay, I'm not quite sure whether that was just... It seems like it's giving us a hint. Actually, I'm pretty sure it's giving us a hint. You know, there are plenty of these across the game as well. Sometimes I get it and I'm like, okay, I need to search around the area and find... Now, my sneaky suspicion is it's behind the water. Whatever this is telling me, it's behind the waterfall. And now that the game lets you know when something is complete, with a check mark, it makes it a lot easier to sort of figure out whether you've been to this location or not. Because I've wandered all over Hernand. I haven't... There is a part of Hernand I haven't been to, the very northern part. But I've been to different places in Hernand simply because of quests. Certain quests take me there. That doesn't mean I've unlocked every location in Hernand yet. I'm pretty sure I haven't. I think you have a map that vast. I don't think it's an empty map like some games. I mean, I think there are certainly little camps along the way. You find manors and houses along the way. But what I'm trying to do is I'm still trying to figure out whether how much of the faction quests I should be showing. The main quests I had already indicated I would be showing all of the main quests because that sort of makes sense. But some of the main quests are blocked by some of the faction quests that you need to do in order to either gain more, I don't know, not more trust. But in this particular instance, for instance, we need to get more Greymane, more of our Greymane comrades in order to sort of progress. We'll get to a point where we're not going to be able to progress because we just don't have enough to do the sub-quests related to some of those things. And when I started the game, I wasn't sure whether that was a total game kind of a thing, where these things happen over the course of the entirety of the game, or whether you needed to do them first in order to progress along the pathway of the game. In order for true game progression, because it's so open and because you can go anywhere on the map. You know, I just sort of figured, okay, maybe you do it that way. And that may still be true. You know, I know that when you get to an area where there's a boss and you struggle with the boss, because that's going to happen to me a couple of times, you defeat all of the adds along the way and in the boss area, and then you're finally left with only the boss to confront. If you quit and you go back, in some cases, all the ads are still gone. You only have to sort of face the boss. If you quit and go back, in some cases, that turns out not to be true. I'm not sure what conditions that has to be the case in. I'll point them out when it happens. Ideally, you know, you'd want to face a boss with a with an abyss portal like right next to it or something like that. Because then you know you don't necessarily have to fight through everybody. You just go back to the portal and then go in. It's not quite Souls-like where you end up right outside of the boss gate. And that's not all Souls. And some Souls games are like that. Others you have a run back. So this is a little bit more like the ones where you actually may have a run back sometimes, and sometimes you don't. I know the Sanctums, for instance, which we haven't cleared yet, or at least we haven't cleared yet in the video. I've cleared them and recorded, so you'll see that in the next couple of episodes. If you kill the ads, they stay dead, and you can go back to the Sanctum, and then there's no one there, and then you can cleanse the Sanctum. So they don't respawn. Now maybe they do respawn if you totally cleanse the Sanctums. And then you come back for some reason, although there's no real reason for you to ever go back to one once you cleanse them. Maybe those enemies come back. I'm not sure. But again, there's no reason for you to ever go back. But if you do it before fighting the boss, if you clear them before fighting the boss, then they won't be there when you fight the boss. Same thing with before you do the cleansing process. And you don't want them there when you're doing cleansing, because it's not something that it's not something you can be interfered with, or you should be interfered with while you're trying to do. It'll just keep messing you up. So the idea is to take care of all of them, get it down to 0%. Whoever's left will run away, and then you can do a cleansing. This little structure here, I wasn't sure what the structure was. You know, and there are a couple of these like this that I've come across. They're surrounded by these guys, sort of like a bandit camp situation. So you take them all out, or you get it down to 0% from 100%, and the rest of them will run away. And what you'll get is you'll get a message indicating... You'll get a message indicating that you've liberated this particular area. I still keep making a mistake in activating that for some reason. When it happens during boss fights, it's very annoying. That was bad all the way around. I was trying to climb back on top to get a little bit more of a vantage point. Okay, I use my very valuable Palmer pills. You have to be careful when you use them, because you only come back at 30%. So as soon as you come back, you really should get out of the situation you're in and then heal. One of the other things I've learned, or am learning, is bring as much food as you possibly can into a boss fight. I mean, if you think you need 20 pieces of meat for a boss fight for health, bring 40.
Are you a gladiator or a jester?
The spirit is less of an issue, because you can regain spirit if you have the time to do it, even during a fight. But there are spirit consumables as well. So you can do it either way. But for me, what I've discovered is that food is the more important aspect. You know, and you guys could sort of see that in one of the earlier... The fight with the Reed Devil was an example of that, where I had sort of burned through the meat that I had, which was probably not more than 4 or 5 pieces of it. And ended up eating bread, cheese, all kinds of things to try to just get what little health I can get to sort of not have to start the whole fight over again. So you do have to, you definitely have to prep. And, you know, I've heard that, you know, before you go into a boss fight, make sure you have lots of food. And I'm like, you know, it's such a different mechanic versus healing items. But I see what people are talking about now. So if you think you need X, double whatever you think you need.
Northern barbarian!
Yeah, this is you shouldn't let them get behind you. Like they're swarming me. You should always. Actually, anyone who plays these games know this. You should try to keep them in front of you. So instead of letting them get around you, I'm not worried about the arrows. They do damage, but I don't know that I've ever been killed by an arrow in this game. I guess if I'm low enough health, they can kill me. There are enemies that have guns.
You should have run away.
Well, I don't do this. I assume I can kick them, and that might knock the shield away. But I struggle enough with just the basic mechanics, so doing the extra stuff while I'm still in the learning mode is probably not going to be helpful. Okay, so we're at a little over 3%, so there must be a couple of guys left. And the dog will actually loot for you. Now, the one thing about the dog's looting ability is if your inventory fills up, right, and you drop something, the dog might go back and pick up the thing that you dropped. That's happened before. I'm like, okay.
Are you a gladiator or a jester?
I haven't given the dog a name yet, but I probably should. I've had the horse the whole time. I haven't given the horse a name yet. I probably should. All right, so this will now tell you that the village is clear, or that this area has been cleared or liberated. And you'll get credit for it being a quest. You'll get credit for it being a quest, even though, let's see, a promise without Ember. Okay. It's interesting because I didn't see that listed as the quest. So there are these sub-quests. You'll also get... Okay, so we shouldn't steal anything in here. I guess we could. We can put the mask on, steal it, and stay here until the warning goes away. Since there's no one else in this tent, I really don't like stealing in these games. I've seen people just go through and just pickpocket people, you know, clean out their homes. I'm like, oh my God, people really? I don't know if they can do that. Now, the cleaning out the homes thing, yeah, I admit I've done that a couple of times. You'll see some of that. I think you'll see some of that. That may be one of those things I did off camera. But I haven't pickpocketed anyone yet. And probably won't. I know that's how they say you get gold bars. Or how you can get gold bars. It's not a guarantee. But my thing is, I don't know that I need gold bars enough to do that. My camp is beginning to make money. Because I'm doing all these favors for the lords, they're actually taking pretty good care of us in terms of giving us supplies for the camp, and things like that. I mean, one lord gave us the land. Shakatu gave us the resources to build on the land. The marshal gave us the people to do the building. I mean, so now that we have some Greymanes coming back, that makes it a lot easier. Okay, we have another one of these little villages. We're still making our way to the rumor. That's one of the things about the quests in the game. you know, if I think it's going to be a, okay, we may have a fast travel over here. If I think it's going to be a 15 or 20 minute thing, it ends up turning out to be like an hour thing, because you find these different areas. You then have to clear the areas. And maybe it's just my fighting style. It never takes me like 2 minutes to clear an area. I mean, it's always a 10-minute slog. You know, then you move on. As you're moving, you discover there's a cave. You go into the cave. So it's never just a direct path to where you're trying to get to. And I guess that's okay, because you're discovering things along the way. You're opening the map up as well. I got to get back to finding the towers to climb and ring the bell. I've only found 2. One in Hernand and the other one in the Scholastic. Oh. Okay. One of them in the research center. I think those are the only 2 that I found. Maybe I found the 3rd one somewhere, but there are not many of them. At least not many that I found.
You made cuz. Die! You frightened us, cuz!
Okay. We've learned how to do the clothesline. Accidentally. Ooh, I guess it wasn't an accident. It would have unlocked, I guess, anyway. Now, at some point, like in this particular instance, since it's not a main quest, I think we would have been able to use what's her name? Damien. Yeah, I think we would have been able to use Damien in this fight. You cannot use her, at least I don't think you can use her in a boss fight. But in these types of fights, you probably can. And I've not used her at all. Mainly because I didn't know this was going to happen. But I guess she can be summoned no matter what. So I need to make a note to self that when I'm sort of traveling the road, if I see one of these bandit camps ahead, then I probably should summon her. We haven't found the other person who is going to be summonable yet. Yeah, I didn't meet the requirements for activating one of my Abyss core thingies. I assume these are enemies. I don't know why they're walking away from me like that. Okay, because they weren't seeing me, but this guy.
How dare you lay your hands on a soldier?
Okay, well, so you can see the challenges there. Now, I don't have time to pay attention to those when I'm trying to save my life in this game. So some of them happen fairly organically when you're just fighting. Okay, so hit enemies 30 times with a spear within 10 seconds. I cheat that. It's easy to do. When you use the stab move, you hit them like four or five times.
Go rot with your ancestors!
1, 2, 3. Okay, 3 times. And then you hit them again, and then you sweep them off their feet. So I guess a total of 5 times for each one. Yeah, so that one was an easy one to do. Like I said, some of them are very organic, and some are not. That one where you have to walk on a tightrope type situation for 10 meters. And I've tried it a couple of times. I guess I'm not meeting the 10-meter remark point, or what I'm walking on is not a tightrope. But you can walk on a log. Yeah, I haven't found any real tightropes in the game, and there are no telephone lines in the game. So I was like, how am I supposed to do that one? It took a while, but eventually I did it. I gotta tell you, I'm liking this spear that I just picked up. I am eventually going to go out and actually look for a spear, the soul spear. So I am going to do that. See, this is the kind of stuff that fills up your inventory pretty quickly. Is that when you go to these little places and, you know, not all of them have loot on them, but enough of them do that it sort of begins to fill up your inventory. The little money pouches are okay because you can just open those and then it frees up at least one space, maybe two. The rifle shooting at me. The goal should be to take them out. They do a lot more damage than arrows. I guess at some point I should probably get a gun. It's right behind me. Yeah, the spear doesn't have exciting moves, but it's pretty efficient. I mean, you know.
You won't get away. Send them all to the grave.
And this is, like I said, this is one I picked up. Probably an enemy drop somewhere along the lines. It wasn't one that I actually went out and looked for. But there are a couple that are supposed to be pretty decent to use. The soul spear being one of them. I don't know whether I'm going to get one of every type of weapon in the game. The axe, the spear, swords. We certainly have swords. Dual wield types of things. We'll see. Okay, so we've liberated another bandit camp. That's 2 in the first 30 minutes. And I didn't know there would be that we would have to do this. Horn encirclement completed. Region liberated. You know, if I'd known that this was what we were going to be doing along the way, I probably would have not reported it. Only because I don't know whether people find it tedious to sort of watch me clearing camps. And some episodes I've cut almost all of those out until I got to something that was main or one of the more significant faction quests. This, by the way, is where we came to find the dog. Where Nera took us to find the dog, so we've been here before.
I'm on night duty this eve. I'd better sober up. One mistake and we all suffer.
Just check and see if there's anything of importance. I'm not going to steal any of this stuff, so I'm not quite sure why I'm looking at it. And there's no one to talk to. That would show up on the mini map even before you used your lantern. So, all right, we've done them a solid. And we're pretty close to where this rumor is, so I'm getting my steps in by running to it instead of riding the horse. I do ride the horse a lot more than I did initially. Even after getting him, I was still doing a lot of running across the map. Mainly because I was climbing mountains and taking the direct path instead of using roads.
I keep plenty busy.
It's quite peaceful here.
Sick of it. I'd sooner put up with Jan's drunken rambling.
Cue me, bearer of booze.
Jan.
Oh, Kliff! You took your bloody time. See, he's here. Come on. Oh, where the hell are you been?
Jan, food's ready. Oh!
Oh, perfect. Oh, fuck me. There
Kliff,
it goes.
it's been too long.
Kliff, welcome to our little slice of
Amazing that they know that's Kliff when he's got this headgear on. I do change it at some point when one of the patches came out. It allowed me to not show his face being covered when he's having these kinds of interactions. But during battles, it will be the mask will be on,
We just
or the
wanted
headgear
an
will be on.
escape from the nightmares of that day.
Is this truly the life you seek?
I wish they had made that change earlier, because I thought, do I just take the helmet off, or do I leave it on?
They're all waiting. Grab the ale.
And I never remember to take it off.
Is this a reunion then?
Yeah, looks like it. We're getting tired of working the field anyway.
And what we standing around for?
Okay, so now that we're done with this one, we'll find... Oh no, we have to go back to the camp, and then we'll find the next set of Greymanes. Game never tells you how many of these we're actually looking for. How many Greymanes we're actually looking for. So I don't know whether or not...
There must be others that are looking for us.
Okay, let's listen to these guys.
You're here. I've got some good news for you. It seems word has spread to our comrades that we're looking for them. More and more folk are saying they've spotted Greymanes.
I see.
We've got to track them down before we lose their trail.
Aye.
While you do that, I'll gather more useful information on them.
I'll handle it.
Let's expand our search area right away.
Very well.
Okay, so let's head to the next one. I think this might be the last one that we do for this episode.
What? Kliff!
You survived! Oh, it stinks. Bryce, meal's ready. Who's that you two are groping?
Ronnie.
I can't be! Kliff! Where have you been all this time? Why don't we talk over there? This stench is making my nose numb.
I knew it. I knew you were alive.
You look like you miss my cooking. Have you been eating properly? I can tell you haven't.
Thank the ancestors. He's quit fussing over me. He's all yours now.
Oh, shut it. Bloody drunkard. Always going on.
I wasn't drinking for no reason. I needed the ale to drown out those memories.
What matters is that we're all alive.
You know what else matters? Eating proper meals. 3 times a day, isn't that right? And of course, finding the rest of our comrades. What'd you say?
Some of us have already reunited.
You serious? Where is everyone?
Let's move our asses then.
Okay, so we're going to go back to the camp, talk to Marius again. Yeah, it's interesting that they make you come back here. I don't think there's another rumor. Let's see.
Oh, back already?
Yep.
You've done an excellent job.
Thank you.
So many of our comrades have found their way back.
Put them to
I
work.
can finally rest easy knowing they're safe here with us. And things can go back to the good old days. Word must be getting around that the Greymanes are gathering. Which reminds me, I had a few reports of Greymane sightings.
Aye.
Mind taking a look? I'll mark the location on your map. If the rumors are true, you might run into more of us.
Okay, so we're able to... Okay, so we completed that one. So in order to continue to expand the camp, there's certain things it wants us to do. Securing resources, collect lumber, and collect stone. We haven't been to the Karen... Yeah, we have. We've been to the Karen Quarry. But we didn't. We obviously didn't collect stone. We were busy clearing the quarry. So some of these are a
Looking
little
for someone with
odd in that
speed,
regard.
strength, or maybe a drinking mate.
This is Ross. We got some egg harvesting. Yeah, I don't have Greymanes with all of the skills yet. So I think part of the reason why you would continue searching for Greymanes is because you need them. It would be nice to have at least one, maybe two, with each of the skill sets that are required to complete some of these missions, the dispatch missions. Okay, so once we get them dispatched, they will complete these
Looking
tasks.
for someone to join your journey? I'll fetch whoever you
I
need.
don't know
Just
if it's
tell
done
me
in
the
real
name.
time or not. It's definitely not. Yeah, maybe it is real time because it won't happen by the time we've finished this particular part of the game. So we're going to start out trying to reach the unreachable village. But I'm guessing that we're going to get, because it's so far away, that we're going to get stopped along the way and end up doing a bunch of other things. So I'm not sure that that's the quest that we're actually going to complete, just as an FYI. So I've sort of learned that now. I mean, unless it's one of those things where I go there and I cut out everything in between. But in this episode, I won't do that. I can't promise I won't do that in future episodes. So we're trying to get a little bit closer by going to one of these abyss cressets. There are also times when I feel like I'm missing some fast travel points along the way. And it's possible. It's quite possible. I guess, you know, as much as I hate playing it at night, or being at night in the game. Oh, by the way, the doggy follows me everywhere. Just like my real life doggy. What was I saying? So I guess if I'm doing this at night and I'm using my lantern, it's a little bit easier to sort of see where they all are. It was earlier. I guess in some locations in the daytime it's easy as well. In other locations it's just not as easy. But at night it's very easy to see. So like a lot of the Souls type games, you definitely want to unlock, I guess in those games it's shortcuts, so you can call it a shortcut. It's usually a gate or some pathway that prevents you from having to do a long run back. So in a similar sort of philosophy, I guess, you really should find the nearest portal. The question marks in the map aren't always a portal, but it's something of interest that you should go to. So it could be one of those portals. It could be a crescent that you have to sort of complete a mini game in order to get. I think it's usually one of those two things. It wouldn't be a cave unless there was a crescent in a cave. In this particular case, got these little symbols that really I don't think has any meaning, because what we're going to do is drop down into the hole in the ground, which is a cave. So in this particular instance, that's what this was for. I was here earlier, by the way. And I saw the symbols and I was like, okay, this must be a puzzle that I need to complete. I have no knowledge of what it is. Maybe it's tied to a quest, and then I left. I did not see the hole in the middle of this little hole here. I did not see this. But you drop down here. Well, Kliff doesn't want to go into the hole. Go right. Right, you drop down here and you've discovered garnet minerals. And you just take as many as you want. See, these things, because I found the diamond cave as well. You know, in the real world, diamonds and garnets and gemstones are very valuable. But in this game, I don't know whether they seem as valuable. I went to the bank with them, and the bank guy is a mean old bastard, and he's like, yeah, no, I don't want that. I need silver or I need gold. You know, once you get a sort of safety deposit box, then we can talk. So I still don't have one. But you can always come back to these caves, by the way, if you remember where they are. You can always come back to them. You know, these will respawn, which is interesting. Same thing with the diamonds. I actually think I passed a gold ore deposit somewhere along the line. I don't remember where, and I didn't take any of it because my inventory was full. Knowing how valuable gold and silver is in this game, I probably should have. Okay, so the question mark was for this. So now that we have it, and you realize you fell into a hole in the ground, so climbing out of this cave won't be the easiest thing in the world to do. We're gonna grab that, and we're gonna grab the Palmer pill. But I guess the fast travel point is here because if you wanted to come back and sort of mine those gemstones, you can. Oh, and there's a little chest. Okay. No secret weapon, no magical staff, none of that kind of stuff. All right. This cave probably has the longest name of any cave that we've seen so far. The Anvil Hill Stoneback Crab Cave. Okay, so since this episode is fast becoming a and I didn't want to port somewhere else since I'm in the area. I figured I'd sort of, my path is now shifted. This has become an episode of exploration, apparently. Sorry, guys. So what we're going to do is we're going to look around. Where's the next question mark? Yeah, the dog, by the way, will follow you into the mountains, will follow you everywhere. So when I search, okay, so the Reventine Monastery is a quest-related area, and the quest hasn't been initiated. So there's really no reason for me to be here this soon. One of the things I learned is for every church or a monastery type place you go to, you should put some money in the contribution box. Because that then increases the amount of, I don't know if it's the amount of money, but it increases something that you get. And so the recommendation is that you put in, I think I've been putting in like 7,000 in each one to get it up to level 7. I think you want to get it to, you ultimately get them to level 10. Okay, so while I was busy ruminating here, I got surrounded by a bunch of enemies. I don't want my horse to get hurt. It's my favorite time of the day in this game, which is nighttime where I can't see shit. Actually, no, it's 5:30 in the morning, so it should be daylight soon. And let's see, you can, obviously you can sleep and change time. I think you can do it. I think you can do it at the little bonfire things too. I think you can. I haven't tried it there. Okay, so there's an item over here. So in some parts of the game and in some stories, you are required to do particular missions at night. So, you know, so I can't always be running around in the daytime, but certainly for exploration purposes, daytime is much better. We're going to take the sealed artifact. We've taken a lot of these sealed artifacts. So as you get them, you'll get a message indicating what you need to do in order to unlock them. So I don't know, maybe one day I will just, because I have a ton of them, maybe one day I'll just spend time trying to do all of the challenges so I can unlock them all.
And there's a fair bit I don't.
You know, it may be worth doing it that way.
Enjoying the day?
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see. That probably is a good idea to do. So I've spent time just exploring or just trying to unlock parts of the map without doing quests.
Why don't you pick out some more?
I guess I can do
Hello,
the same
traveller.
thing with those
All right.
things. Okay, so we found another one of these areas. Okay, so these are beacons. Okay, so that's what these are. Right? These little structures. This is the second one we found. Okay, so we've cleared another one of these. I don't know whether they're going to be something that we use later in the game. It's just an interesting architectural structure. They're beacons, but there's nothing to light, so I'm not quite sure what they are. The tall ones you can actually light. So you get Hernandian contributions for clearing simply because we're getting rid of the bad guys. We've liberated another region, which is good. We've acquired knowledge, which is good. Or I guess it might be that it's an achievement that you might get later. This is Darkfall Gorge. Okay, so we're going to learn something. Yeah, I haven't done any of the treasure things. I've gotten, this may be the third map. So there's just so much to do. And certainly, I think as you progress, the enemies get a little bit tougher. Certainly the bosses get tougher. And if I get to a point where I'm sort of stuck, what I'll likely do is a little bit more of those kinds of exploring and doing things like that. I haven't socketed weapons with abyss cores or any of those kinds of things yet. Part of that will be tied to the witches quest line, because I think they're the ones that do it. Maybe at the Research Institute as well. I have weapons with those things in it. But my understanding is you can actually remove them from one weapon and put them into a favorite weapon that you might have. There's certain weapons that you can't alter at all. From a refinement standpoint. So we're going to try to break a horse since we're just exploring and stuff. So the key, and I don't know how you're supposed to follow this, is you're supposed to pull in the direction that the horse's, in the opposite direction that the horse's tail is pointed in. Again, I don't know how you see that. But I was able to get a second horse. That was like after 5 attempts. Okay, he disappeared into wherever the horses go. The doggy is watching me like, okay, don't do that to me. Yeah, there is a quest that requires you to break a horse. And so I figured, okay, I need to get a little bit of practice in here. They're not that difficult. It's just that horse, we were on a cliff side doing that, and I didn't want to get thrown off the cliff. So I was much more conscientious of the edge of the cliff. I guess a horse wouldn't necessarily just dive off a cliff. Okay, we've been in this region before. We're investigating the fog. Find out what's... Okay, so it's another abyss portals. Nice. Wish I'd known this earlier, because I've been in this area before. We actually completed a quest here. It's funny when you find these things after you complete the quest, you realize just how freaking annoying it was that you actually came all the way out here, didn't unlock it, and needed to do that again. This is the Kilden workshop where we got the cuckoo pot. All right, so we see another. Okay, I did not mean to jump on the guy. Okay. And apparently I stole something, so I must have accidentally pickpocketed this guy. That was not my intent. I didn't have a mask on, so it's a crime. You can lose contribution points, by the way, from doing that. So the game has a mechanic so that you can't just go around without a mask on pickpocketing people. I thought you had to have a mask on to pickpocket people, but apparently you don't. So that was a crime. I didn't see it take anything away from me. So that seems to be okay. We were in Duskwood. So we're going to fight some more bandits. Let's see if we can get sharpened spear. Okay, well I just took damage, so that's done. And if I'd been paying attention, I wouldn't have taken damage, because with the spear, you can take them out without letting them hit you, unless someone gets behind you. But unfortunately, the first guy hit me, and that did, while I was reading the description of how to deal with that one. So it pops up to tell you what you need to do for the particular abyss thing. And then while you're reading, you get hit, which then kills the particular challenge. Okay, this is a puzzle in order to get the Ibis Crescent. I will come back to it because my brain is not in puzzle solving mode at the second. I will come back to it, and it's a simple solution. You just need to line up 5 of the white little stones in a row. So it's a real simple one. Okay, so now we are in search of the Soul Spear. It's up here, right where I have the marker, right? Between the hash marks of the H in Hernand on the map. And let me tell you, getting here is a royal pain in the ass. You're in the mountains, it's cold. There are frost monsters. The first time I came up here, frost monster got me. I had to run away from him. I didn't want to fight the frost monster. I'm only here to get the Soul Spear. And my understanding is you can get it without fighting anyone. My sneaky suspicion is that's not going to be true. I'm not that good at avoiding enemies. So I was trying to figure out how to get up there. Right? There is no direct road that takes you there. At least one that I found. This is a little bit like the Simon Outlaw quest, where I had to figure out my way through the mountains. So I'll follow the road as far as I can. And then I will have to get off the horse and sort of climb, because Kliff can climb anything in the game. It makes it a lot easier to, in some ways, it makes it a lot easier to find particular places, as long as he has stamina. And the mountains are set up in a way that they're not smooth, they're craggy enough so that when you climb, you can find places, if you're smart, you'll climb in spaces where you can actually rest and regain your stamina. I think your stamina gets depleted a little bit faster in the cold, because your stamina bar will turn blue at some point. So at this point, I realize Horsey has to stay there, because there's just no way. And if you look at the map, you can sort of see where we have to go. And, you know, through the magic of editing, I will show you guys actually what happens in this particular quest. Those little, that little formation over there looks too good to be true. You can just go and grab an abyss core type thing. But it's not that simple. So I saw this here. Doggy jumped right in. Poor dog is buried in the snow. I was like, huh, okay, let me try grabbing one of these. And then that started happening. So I don't know whether it's a protective mechanism for these things or not. And that item fell out, and I didn't see it at the time, and just ran off to continue my quest to get to the spear. It's probably still there, whatever it is. It looked like either a palmer pill or one of the abyss things. Okay, so where we want to get to, is down there. And of course, I jumped down and injured myself, took all my health, didn't realize there were 2 guys, and that was the first of like a half a dozen times that I died. Okay, and when you die, it warped me way the hell out here somewhere at Argent Peaks. which leads me to believe that there's some fast travel point out here. This is not it, by the way. This is just a reset point. And, you know, I try to get to a point where I'm like, okay, so if this is going to happen, what I can try to do is to save the game so that when I die, save the game when I get close to the entrance to that area. I guess there's a cave. And then when I get close to it, I can save, and then when I die, I'll just go there. No, the game doesn't let you do it that way. When you die, you come to a save point, and it will not be it will not be one of those transporter things. So as you can see, where I wanted to be was here, and where I ended up is way the hell up there. So maybe there is a save point around somewhere. I just never found it. And maybe I didn't look hard enough, to be honest with you, because I was trying to get to an area, and now that I've seen the area that I'm trying to get to, blizzard suppressing stone lantern. Okay. Let's try that. Maybe. Okay. Oh shit. Oh. Okay. I don't know who those guys are. Yikes. Okay. And all kinds of havoc up here. First the guys who killed me at the cave thingy. Then these flying guys who came out of nowhere. My suspicion is I have missed a fast travel point somewhere over here. They wouldn't be out here if they didn't have a place to be. Right? They have a place where they're all hanging out. What's this? Okay, interesting. There's a little chest here. Very interesting. Just this little opening. So we have some money, some timber, some knowledge. Okay, so we're making it back here. The one thing to note, again, while you're progressing through here, is the enemies will not respawn.
Not the smartest.
So if I had taken the approach of, you know, just, you know, chip away, kill them, and, you know, sort of progress my way through here, it would have probably been a lot easier. But what I had read was it's very easy to get this soul spear. All you have to do is go here, lie down. You don't have to fight anybody. You can run past all of these guys. You'll see what I'm talking about. Drop down, go in there, and just grab the soul spear. Well, clearly not as easy as it sounded. For one, you have to make sure you land in the right spot. Otherwise, you could be a level above or a level below. Where you want to go to is the one right down below us. Not this one, but the one below that. I did not know that.
It's tedious.
And as you can see, there is no sword in here. And there's a bunch of enemies in here. I'm surrounded by them. There are flying enemies, and I know these guys. They're kicking my ass. So I decided to go in here, create a choke point. I was trying to heal. They got me. Okay. So, let's try it again. I don't know why I always land on this ledge, which is not where I want to be. And this is what happened the second time. So, the joys of playing this game. So, you don't really have a choice but to revive at the checkpoint. So this time around, I went too low, fell into the water. You have to climb out before you run out of stamina, but I was worried about the flying guys. And they're just lighting me up down here. So, yeah, didn't quite work out. This goddamn spear better be worth it. So you go back to the checkpoint. And by the way, the checkpoint is all the way back where we were, and each time I had to make my way back over here. Okay, so finally, I get it right. There is the spear. But you cannot interact with it because enemies are around. I'm like, oh my god, they said I didn't have to kill anybody. You don't. The problem is, they can't be close to you. And I died again. So it's true that if I was able to not have caused all of them to aggro on me, I would have been able to get in there, just grab the sword and be done. And then I can just warp out of there to any of the fast travel. But what I did... Clearly this is the wrong one since there's no sword here. So I go in here and try to hide a little bit. Flying ones are a real pain in the neck. If you hit them, typically they'll fall, and you should actually don't let them get back up. Just attack. Don't let them get up because they're pretty annoying. Okay, so I took care of all of them. Now I'm trying to figure out, okay, so which one of these doorways is the one to go into for this thing? Not that one. Ooh. And I goofed again. Yeah, this was like a comedy of freaking errors to try to get this soul strip, but that's okay. That's what spending time doing this is all about. Fortunately, I was actually recording when I was doing this, as opposed to just having it be just a on my own kind of a thing. And the reason I'm recording is because I thought it would be quick, you know. So it's the one down below. I'm gonna land on this thing again, aren't I? Yep. It's the one directly below us. It's this one. Run in here. Doggy appears. He can't get the spear. Tried to go with the arrow, poison arrow. These guys are attention. Okay. So I should be able to get the weapon now. And it's not giving me the option. So this must be an enemy nearby. Okay, now it gave me the option as I walked away, so I didn't notice that. So I'm just going to go out here and shoot one guy, whoever the closest one to me is. I can see on the mini-map that there are still some guys around, but none of them are really close. So I probably could have gone back and gotten it because it did give me the option, but I didn't see it. So I'm just going to shoot this guy, and now I'm going to go back and get it. Thinking that because I shot him, I could get it, but I could have gotten it either way. So we now have the famed Soul Spear. My first real, supposedly super weapon. I guess I can't call it a boss weapon, but it's not a weapon that would be a pickup from a fight. So we did that. This is the Tomb of the Frozen Souls, by the way. And it was 8 times that I ended up dying to get this spear. So I need to equip it. But next we're going to go to the next Greymane rumor, one at Ivy Nook. But why don't we equip this first? You can see that it has attack power that's significantly higher than what I had, but it doesn't have, doesn't give me speed, it doesn't give me crit, it doesn't give me any of those other things, right? But its finishing move produces little spiritlets, little spirits that will harry the enemy. I don't think it actually harms the enemy, but it just annoys them. Okay. So we're looking into another rumor, and this is Ivy Nook. We're finding a ton of Greymanes this episode.
How do you do? I've got orders to report every new face in town. Best to spot trouble before it makes itself known.
No problem, but I'm going to search this building behind you, buddy. Yeah, when you find these keys in a game, don't ever get rid of them. Because they seem to be universal keys that will unlock any door. They can only be used once. So when you use a key, that key is gone. So when you find those keys, you should definitely keep all of them. I've discovered that. Now, in some places you go, it's really not worth using the key. And other places you go, like this place, this really wasn't worth me using the key. I don't think there's anything in here. Or at least not yet. Maybe this is a quest point where something will appear here later. I'm not sure. Okay, so there's a beacon. But we can... Oh, it's already lit. Okay, I was going to say that we can light, but it's already lit. We didn't do anything to it. We didn't light it. The Soul Spear works just like the other spear in terms of its movesets, by the way. So when you're fighting, it's the same stab, 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 sweep off their feet kind of a move. It's kind of cool because it's a little transparent. But it certainly has the highest damage of any weapon I have, so I figured I'll use it for a while. I don't know how long I'll use it for, but I'll use it until I find something better. Let's talk to this chap.
Did you do this?
Thanks, Solomon. No, of course not. I thought I was as good as dead when they caught me. Then the Greymane swooped in and saved my life.
Greymanes? Where did they go?
Ivy Nook. You can still catch them if you hurry.
Okay, so we're going to head to Ivy Nook to find some more Greymanes. I didn't want to jump over their little friends on the other side. Okay, more Greymanes. Who do we have?
That sound of meat over the fire is a fair delight, huh? Days like this have me longing for even a bite of some meaty patties. Mash it with whatever seasonings you have on hand. Shape it and get to grilling. There you have your grilled meat patties.
I'll cut down anyone that stands in our way.
All the way to Odek?
Kliff!
It's really you! Oh!
Where the fuck have you been?
I knew you wouldn't have died so easily.
Thanks for making it through.
No need to thank us. We were on our way to Calfade. I've got a few friends there, willing to help us.
Okay, we have not been to Calfate yet.
Though it really is a miracle that we're still alive.
Okay, so that tells us there's some Greymanes there as well.
While I was out scouting, I cursed myself for not being there, night after night.
No,
You're here with me
not
today.
your fault.
Some of us have already come together. We'll be glad to see you.
So, it's not the end for us yet?
Definitely not.
Well, what are we waiting for then? Shall we go?
Aye, let's go back. To the Greymanes.
We've no time to waste then.
Tell us, Kliff, how many of us have returned?
Do we have a place to call home?
You'll know when you get there.
I guess the reason for him. Okay, so we have 3 more. I guess the reason for him not saying that is because at any point in the game, you might have stumbled upon here and not necessarily known how many Greymanes you have back there. I've lost count, to be honest with you. We found Pierce, we found Devon, and we found, what's the lady's name? Evelyn. Okay. Okay, so contributions up to plus 70. Okay, so we did go back to camp, and they told us that Count Roberts wanted to talk to us. So we're going to talk to Count Roberts. He's given us a couple of quests in the past. I'm guessing as long as we're in Hernan, we're going to be getting quests from a number of the lords.
Were you looking for me?
Nope, I'm looking for your boss. There he is. We meet again.
As you know, my domain is rather vast.
Apparently.
And it's been difficult to keep watch over everything of late. You know all too well how those wretched bandits are running wild. We've had no word from the southern fort in days. I'd like you to go and make sure that everything is in order there.
Okay, we have another bounty notice as well. Okay, so, whoa. Sorry, buddy, I'm just walking all over your place. This looks like one of those quests where you'll get multiple sub-quests as well. There's a missing soldier. There's the Crimson Nightmare, which is a boss. But that you only get to after you clear the whole area. We've passed this area before. There was just way too many enemies for me to try to fight them, so I didn't really worry about it. But I can tell you right now, this is one of those ones where probably the first difficult boss. The first real difficult boss, because the Reed Devil was not necessarily easy. But I think that the issue for fighting some of the bosses happened to be the mechanics of the boss and what they do. So this is the area. When we look at the map, we'll see it. It's a multiple encampment type area. We're gonna go down because we're running out of stamina, and we'll make our way down there. You can bring stamina items, and while you're floating in the air like this, you can drink it or eat it, and it will replenish your stamina. None of it lasts very long, but if you know you're going to be doing that. The other thing is you can do the double jump. If you're high enough, let yourself fall, regain your stamina. It depends on where you're doing this from. See, this says defeat the Crimson Nightmare, but before we defeat the Crimson Nightmare, we got to fight through like 400 of his closest buddies. And let me see if it pops up on the map when we get a little bit closer to this. Because this is the back part of one section of this. This is not the, there we go. So we have an infirmary, we have the barracks, and then we have the main fort, which has the Crimson Nightmare in it. And we have a lot of these poor Pywell prisoners. And like I said, we have literally hundreds of enemies. This is my first test of this spear. Those are the little things that fly out. The red smoke is actually poison. And there is a mask that you can get from, that you can pick up from one of these bandits that will prevent the poison from affecting you. And before fighting the boss, you really should do that. Because then you won't have to worry about poison. You still have to worry about the boss and the damage the boss does, but you don't have to worry about the poison. So there are two early game bosses. I guess we can still call this early. Maybe we're approaching mid game. No, I'll say this is early. I'll still say this is early. This is chapter 4 or 5. I'll call this early. For the two bosses that, and they are bosses you will have to get beyond to progress the story. At least the second one of the two bosses. I'll tell you who they are. It's this one, the Crimson Desert, and the other one is. I'm getting shot. Yeah, I am. And the other one is the Crow Caller. We haven't gotten to him. We haven't gotten to him yet, but we will get to him. And I will tell you that there's probably 2 or 3, maybe 2 episodes in between me finding him and then finishing the fight, because I kept going back and kept getting beat again and again and again, and you know, finally when I ended up finally beating him, it turned out it was a 2-boss episode. It was this boss, the Crimson Nightmare, and that boss, the Crow Caller, in the same episode. So as you the spoiler alert, it will not be in this episode, and it won't be in the next episode. We do make progress, and we do continue some of the faction quests that are important to the main story, and so we will be doing that. But that's what happens when I got stuck on bosses. And you sort of, like I said, you feel like, well, you sort of have to do them. This isn't one of those ones where you can just skip this one. This is a progression point, and so it just took a while for me to figure out how to beat this boss. And again, there is no XP leveling, so it wasn't like I was going to be stronger. It might be about finding better armor, because I did find some better armor pieces, and different weapons. Whether or not those things actually helped, or whether it was just me having learned a little bit more about the mechanics of the game, it's kind of hard to tell. You know, and maybe, you know what, I take that back. I think part of it is learning, because the first time fighting either of those two bosses, I probably died within the first 15 seconds. And then it just got frustrating when you just keep going and on and on. And they're boss fights, so there are multiple phase fights. This fight with the Crimson Nightmare is only has one phase. It's not multiple phase. The Crowcaller fight has 3 phases. And that fight takes place up in the abyss. It does not take place down here on the land. Actually, it starts on land. It starts as part of another quest. So it starts down here on Earth, and then you end up in the abyss area. So we're going to save some more of these guys.
I can't thank you enough, friend.
Again, I don't know how many of them we need to save.
You've done me a
The game is keeping
service.
track. So that's 64. And in a place like this, there are likely to be literally dozens of them. And like I said, this is a much bigger place than I imagined, right? That's the infirmary, the barracks. This is the main fort. So we're actually on the back side of this whole area. So we're not going to complete this. This is Fort Crone. We're not going to complete this in this episode, because I realized that I've sort of taken the wrong approach, and got frustrated, as you'll see at the end of this video.
I can go
But we do
home
come
thanks
back
to
here, and
you.
we do actually complete the entire area and take on the boss. So I feel good about that. And that's going to be true for probably more than just these 2 bosses that I'm referring to. I won't ever give up, or at least give up permanently. I might say, I can't do this right now, I have to come back to it, but I will get back to it. And if there are main story or bosses, you will see that. I wouldn't have this kind of trouble with just, you know, in most cases, but to get this, what will likely be an hour and 45-minute long video, is probably 3.5 hours of actual gameplay. So this is, so you see those spirits, they sort of knock them down, but they don't kill them. Okay, I almost killed myself with that. So there are lots of enemies, lots of these guys to rescue. Inside the fort, there's probably equal number. So let's say, for instance, outside the fort, if we end up fighting, like, let's say 60 or 70 of these guys, inside the fort, there's probably 60 or 70 of these guys as well. So we're going to keep rescuing these guys. Again, I don't know what the goal is. We're going to keep on rescuing them.
I can't thank you enough, friend.
You know, maybe they'll be part of an army that I have later in the game. I don't know. I don't really know. But I figured the more, the better.
Oh, you.
So we're at 75.
You'll
So
be
that's-
painting my picture after.
Okay. totally missed all of them with the explosive thing. Okay, alright. Okay, that was freaking annoying. So I don't know where the checkpoint's going to be. Because I did not... Okay. Alright, it's not that far away. Yeah, and some of these... You know, now I knew I was coming here because this is where Count Roberts sent us. So, my bad for not going and finding poison arrows and those kinds of things that might have helped make it a little bit easier.
Time to the shithole you crawled from, cowards! Catch my breath.
Yeah, oddly enough, this is one of the ones where when you die, it sort of seems like... Well, it seems like these enemies sort of spawn again. That's not true in some of the cave-type areas. But once you clear it, and I guess it may just depend on what whether you're talking about a bandit camp-type setup or a cave or a sanctum. Okay, let's rescue these guys. I know, for example, that happened to me in the fort.
You enough, friend.
When I sort of got frustrated and sort of ended this and came back the next time, they were all back. So, you know, there's a difference between sort of continuing the fight and having to take a break to do something, plus ending it and then starting it all over again. I don't know how the game sort of knows that. Maybe I don't know. Maybe if you go on and you do something else, because I did a lot in between the first time I came here and the next time I came here. Like I said, it was a couple of days. It wasn't immediate. Okay, so we got 77 with these guys. As you can see, we've only done like 20-something odd % of this area. I still have 73% left. So it was going to be a slog. And you hear all these struggling people. Every time you hear one, you're like, okay, where is this guy? I want to rescue him. Now here, I don't mind putting the mask on and stealing stuff. If you try to sleep here, it won't let you. Alright, we're at 80. $81. And interestingly, with the mechanics in this game, you don't have to untie them. All you have to do is bump into them, and then they're free, which is interesting. Yeah, in most games, you have to actually interact with them and untie them. And this one, they make it easy. Okay, so what are you guys? They're coming from from out of the woodwork here. Again, the enemies aren't difficult. The issue is there are just so many of them. Okay, I guess there's an enemy nearby since he's cowering on the ground while I just saved his life. Okay, there's enemies. There are guys that need to be saved on the other side. I was trying to destroy this building. Okay, see, now, this is interesting, because that one erased it from the mini-map. But I've done that in other situations where it didn't get erased from the mini-map. So now this says that the only other building besides the main fort, where the Crimson Nightmare is the infirmary. And you don't need to do that in order to consider it cleared. You can liberate it by just getting that number down to 0% and defeating the boss. Even if you get it to 0%, if the boss is still alive, you haven't really liberated the area. Okay, this guy up here is really annoying. Very annoying. Is he dead? Oh, no, I guess he's not. I don't know what was going on with him. He's doing a serious little lean. Okay. No, I should have lied. I don't know what I was thinking. So we're going to continue to do this. You have an opportunity to cook more food if you need it. Any of those little cooking spots you can actually use.
A great debt.
No problem, buddy. Okay, every time I hear one of these other guys, I know. I don't always see them, I hear them. I mean, so I decided, since I found an anvil, take the time to do some reinforcing of my armor. And there is a grindstone, but it's inside the fort. And you definitely should use it, because by the time you finish with all these guys, I'm assuming that the durability of your weapon has changed, although you never know that. The game doesn't tell you that. So we're going to stop here, because we got a million enemies and we're not going to get through them. So I hate ending on this type of cliff note, but since I got blown to smithereens and got totally freaking annoyed with that, we're going to wrap this episode up. So this is it for episode 6. I was so annoyed I just turned everything off. I will see you guys in episode 7. Thank you guys for joining me. Please hit the like button, subscribe, and comment, and all that good stuff. I will see you in episode number 7 of Crimson Desert. We will continue our story, and we will continue some of the side quests. But at least we got the Soul Spear. That was one of the things we wanted to do. So thank you guys for joining me. Take care. This is Reg with PaxAriaGaming. Bye-bye.